Okay, as chair of the Seabrook School Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We're utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Seabrook School Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number: 929-205-6099 and password 986-974-031, or by clicking on the following website address. It's actually listed on the agenda. B, providing public notice of this necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the SAU 21 office at www.sau21.org. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 603-926-8992, extension 103, or email at revans@sau21.org. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. We'll begin the roll call.
Mike Rabideau?
Yes.
Jessica Brown? Forrest Carter? Jennifer Hubbard?
Here with kids.
And Kelly Huber?
Here with children.
The roll call's been taken.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any public comment on the agenda items? Hearing none, seeing none. The next item is approval of meeting minutes for March 25th, 2020 for the regular meeting. I'll take a motion. I need a motion to accept them if they're acceptable.
I'll make that motion, Mike.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to accept the March 25th to 2020 regular meeting minutes.
Take a roll call of Mike Rabideau?
Yes?
Jennifer Hubbard?
Yes.
And Kelly Huber.
Yes.
The roll calls, or the vote's been recorded.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to the finance report. Is that Matt, I presume?
Yes.
Mhm.
Matt, your mic is off.
My apologies. So we have attached the year-to-date revenue and expenditure reports for this month. You'll notice there are not any significant changes from last month. However, that does not mean that there aren't changes that will be reflected fairly soon. This is a result of obviously working remotely. So we have seen some expenditures due to the closure, and then we've seen some savings also due to the remote instruction. We still have an undetermined date of return, so I'm hesitant to provide any estimates. However, once we do have a final return date, I do plan on bringing forth kind of an estimate as to what type of costs and or savings that we may incur for the remainder of the year. If you note, although there has not been a variance from last month, that we are maintaining a deficit. Where on paper we are projected to go over budget by about $70,000. However, that includes encumbrances that we know that are going to come off the books. So, for example, we have interest that we get refunded by the IRS for a QZAB loan. That's about $20,000. That's going to come back to us. We have our spring stipends, in supplies and electricity and fuel and transportation costs. These are all expenses that, depending on when we return, will determine how much we get back, but it could be significant if this extends further. But we already have a month of savings on those accounts. So we do, as we've mentioned in the past, we were anticipating making a withdrawal from the Special Education Expendable Trust, in addition to the Building Maintenance Expendable Trust for the lockers at next month's meeting. This is due to our deficit in special education of in excess of $400,000 that was unbudgeted. However, should we recognize some of these savings, if this extends longer, that may be minimized as far as how much we are looking to withdraw. So we should have some more, I hope to have some more definite answers as to how long this remote instruction period will last, and in turn we'll be able to provide you better numbers for end of year, hopefully by the May board meeting. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Just to note, Jessica is here with us now.
Great, thank you. Welcome, Jess. Matt, given the meetings we've had with the joint board group, obviously there's some outstanding issues that haven't been resolved, such as whether they're going to shut down school for the entire year and other things. So obviously that'll come into play in our next month's meeting.
Right. So depending on, if you've been watching the news lately, the governor has made some public comments about anticipating perhaps extending school closures through the end of the year. And once we have a definitive answer from the state, we'll be able to update both this board and the joint board and make some of those decisions. So
great, thank you. Anyone else have a question? All right, Bill, I guess you have the update on the COVID-19.
So I'll start, and then SAU administrators and then principals will join in on this. So I'm going to keep my comments fairly brief and sort of at the 30,000 foot level. Matt mentioned that the governor has been signaling over the last few days where he may be on closing schools through the remainder of the year, going with remote learning for the rest of the year. We have been told to anticipate his announcement on Thursday. And all the indications we have are that he will extend the remote learning for some period of time, if not the rest of the year. And so we're expecting to be able to provide you with more on that and parents with more on that on Thursday. The other thing that we're anticipating hearing more about soon, you've probably heard a lot of discussion about this issue, is the conditions by which schools and other organizations could reopen. I've been doing a lot of reading the last 2 days, both in New Hampshire and in New England, and other places as to the discussion about what school could look like when schools reopen. And so we're paying really close attention to things like masks, to things like group sizes, all those kinds of things, passing in hallway. I mean, all those kinds of things that are just part of school that we take for granted, which will have to be dealt with when schools reopen. I want to mention that I've started last week a series of conversations with town officials, including your police chief and town administrator. They've both been exceptionally supportive to the work that we're doing, and just been great. We've started some real good conversations about support that the police department's providing and can provide when we're not able to contact families, and with your town administrator about budgets and what they may look like down the line coming out of this emergency. And in fact, your town administrator worked with Senator Sherman to get me invited as part of the more regional group of town leaders that meets on Thursday. And so I'll be attending that meeting. They've asked me for a briefing on things going on with us around meals and what we've been doing to meet the needs of families. So I'll be reporting on that. One thing you're going to hear a lot about over the next couple of weeks is CARE funding. This was one of the first rounds of funding from the feds. We've been told to expect about 85% of our Title I allocation, which is a pretty considerable amount of money in Seabrook. There are a wide range of uses that have to be able to be tied to the COVID-19 emergency situation. And so we've already begun conversations with your principals about how those monies might be best utilized to support kids and families. And the last thing I want to say is just, you've heard me say at a number of our joint board meetings and other places, just what a great job these 4 people from the SAU have done in working with me. I'm very lucky to work with them. And I want to extend that tonight to just say the same about your principals who have just done great work, whether it's with student trips or in terms of meeting the needs for kids with technology, or making sure that kids have a contact, someone reaching out to them from the school district. These 2 principals, and I'm sure they would say the people who work with them have done really great work, and we're lucky to have them. So with that, I think I'll go to Dr. Hobbs and Dr. Arakelian. I don't know if Mr. Farrar has anything he wants to add, and then hear from your principals on this issue as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to kind of start at the beginning. I know we've covered some of this at the joint board level, but I wanted to make sure it's said. Here's what's going on with regard to grading, curriculum, instruction, assessment at the SAU. Grading and reporting, we've had continual conversations about final grade reporting, what the final report cards are going to look like. Obviously, this doesn't impact day-to-day feedback that kids are getting, but we're trying to get our arms around how we can communicate student performance at the end of the school year, with or without reopening in May. So as a matter of fact, today, we drafted a letter to go out to parents, kind of giving a broad overview from the SAU. We're going to follow that up shortly thereafter with individual letters from schools, from principals, talking about how the grading plays out in their individual situations. So be expecting that. Certification. I've been in a world of spreadsheets for the last few weeks, and we've done a really good job making sure that our teachers are certified by we have an April 15th reflection deadline. So right now, principals meeting, and I think we are down to 1 or 2 that still need to be certified. So that's, we're in good shape there. We've done some work around frontline and summative evaluations. We've actually, in this remote environment, while we can't do classroom evaluations, we've actually been able to pull off, our principals are pulling off summative evaluations. So we're going to keep that process intact for the rest of the school year. And lastly, I just wanted to make a note on the accountability process that we have. Every week, we are polling teachers about the work that they're putting in. They're asking students to put in, and we're immediately turning that back over to the principals so that they have kind of a codified list of what's going on within the classrooms and aggregate numbers in terms of hours spent working and expectations on students. So that's kind of where things are with respect to grading and assessment. I can answer questions if you need it.
Thanks, David. Dr. Arakelian?
Thank you. So for meal distribution, we added a third route to our delivery service on Friday. And as a result, we delivered to 20 additional students, both on Friday and on Monday out of Seabrook. So that has increased and that's going well. And I hear that with the third route and the 3 streamlined delivery routes, that it has been the most smooth process yet. So we're very happy to hear that. Also, regarding Medicaid right now, we are holding trainings. Dan Corder, who presented to the joint board, I believe in January. He's with the New Hampshire Medicaid Compliance Alliance, holding trainings for all of our related service providers. So speech and language, occupational therapists, physical therapists, BCBA, school psychologists, and social workers. He's holding 3 meetings, 10 people each from all of our schools, to review all of the Medicaid compliance rules given changes in the rules for as far as who can order service. Let's see, also want to give you an update about educational associates. They continue to work hard for our kids, and we've provided them with additional professional development opportunities, including some data governance training so they can be totally aware and informed as far as the rules for privacy confidentiality when using when they're using online services for students. And also directors and principals are holding weekly meetings with our educational associates to keep them informed and on a structured meeting every week. Finally, I want to update you about, I mentioned this on Saturday on our parent forum, but we have a new parent support document posted on our SAU 21 website. It's called New for Parents, Care, Comforts, and Supports, and it's several pages of resources that our nurses, our counselors, and our social emotional team put together as the best resources for parents to deal with stress, anxiety. You know, being at home with the kids every day might be leading to some of that, and having to help with remote learning, but also other things as far as coping with grief, medical issues, contact information for our nurses, and so on. Lots of supports on there. So that's posted on our SAU 21 website under the COVID link. And those are my updates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caroline, I have one question.
Sure.
I know that you've added the additional route for the food delivery. What kind of percentage roughly have we seen as an increase since we started?
Good question. We started, I believe, the first couple days. So it's only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, although we're distributing 2 days worth of food on Monday and Wednesday and 3 days worth of food on Fridays. When we first started, I believe it was about 140 kids served out of Seabrook, and it went up to about 185 now.
Yeah, the total, Mike, I just happen to have that spreadsheet in front of me, Caroline, for some reason. We've gone from, on the first day that we did meals, there were 143 students fed across the SAU. And on Friday, last Friday, it was 279.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's like a 95% increase. So I guess from a operations perspective, we do continue, and this might be a little repetitive, but it's worth mentioning again. that we do continue to limit access to our SEU 21 buildings to only our essential personnel. And this is in order to perform any necessary tasks, such as our school nutrition team that's providing those meals for our families, or our facilities if there's any necessary maintenance or repairs that need to be done in the buildings. Additionally, we are starting to mobilize our facilities teams for our grounds work while maintaining safe social distances. We are providing very strict rules as far as workers not working in close contact, only for individual tasks, and which is fairly easy when we're talking about lawn mowing and raking and getting that spring cleanup done. Additionally, as I had previously reported, we did contract a professional remediation company to sanitize and disinfect all of our SAU 21 buildings. And this will occur again prior to our students and staff returning to school. Our human resources, payroll, and accounts payable are fully functional. And we are continuing our operations in this remote environment at 100%. This means we are continuing payroll uninterrupted for our teachers and staff who are performing this incredible job of providing remote instruction. We are paying our vendors through accounts payable, and we are conducting our normal hiring process. So this means we're conducting interviews with prospective candidates via video conference. So this is either via Google Meet or Zoom, and all paperwork and contracts are executed online via DocuSign. Additionally, our technology team remains, a really important part of this successful initiative. They've really been working nonstop to support our students, our teachers, and our staff. They've ensured that we've been up and running, and we've been able to really leverage our existing technology and then implement new technology or software and subscriptions that were necessary to provide this remote learning environment. I thank these teams on Saturday with the parent forum, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank all of these operations non-union side of the school district. They're often working behind the scenes and don't get noticed, but they are essential functions for us to operate and to provide instruction for our students. So this includes our human resources, our payroll, accounts payable, school nutrition, finance, office support, our facilities teams, our technology teams. They all do an amazing job, and we really want to thank them. So finally, as I had mentioned earlier during the finance report, we have incurred some costs, and we are monitoring the financial side of this remote learning environment. So there have those costs that we've already incurred include, sanitizing the schools, providing the meals for students, various technology upgrades and investments, including the internet hotspots for students that don't receive, who don't currently have internet access, and numerous subscriptions and software. However, as you're all aware, we do anticipate receiving some funds from the federal and state level. This includes the CARES legislation. We have, as mentioned earlier, we do have some back of the envelope, estimates as far as what we anticipate receiving from the CARES Act. And as that information, as we get better information, we do intend to report back on exactly what that number is and how we plan to utilize it, both for this end of this year and for re-entry into school, whether that's probably not this year, but if it's this year or in the fall, we could be looking at some significant investments, whether that's in the summer or the fall, via those funds, as well as potential state funding and FEMA funds. And we will update you when we have a better idea of what type of funding we do receive. So that's it from the financial side.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
I do have one question, if possible. After watching the news, reading a number of reports on other schools that aren't prepared for this, we have all the Chromebooks, thanks to Stephanie and Aaron and the SAU, having purchased them, making sure they're updated every year. Are we able to recoup any costs through the FEMA or any of the other funding for that?
Well, I do not believe we'll be eligible for technology that we had already invested in previously. It would be any new investments directly linked to the situation. So we had already had a one-to-one initiative in place. We're not going to get reimbursed for those purchases in years past. That being said, if we had, there's some technology that we have had to purchase. We've had to subscribe to Zoom to SAU wide to provide for the professional services subscription that's secure. I'm sure you've seen in the news that Zoom, the free version of Zoom, is a potential security risk. So we did subscribe to that secure subscription, as well as DocuSign for electronic signatures to continue our paperwork. It may be a situation where we need to replace some of those one-to-one devices, the Chromebooks, because students typically do not take, or in the past did not take them home. So there's a higher likelihood that we could see some breakage, and we need to replace some of those, since the students will be using them full-time and at home, as well as staff. So we did have, we may have to replace some of their technologies, but really it's anything new that we've incurred, we anticipate being reimbursed.
Great, thanks.
Aaron?
Thank you. I would concur with the amazing staff we have working with our kids. Teachers are working really hard. They're working together. I think having those Fridays off, we've only had 2, but have been very helpful for them to be able to plan and try to come up with, in the middle school, we're really encouraging them to do team level projects and things that they can work together on to lessen the load on the students and make it more collaborative and integrated. And that's been going well. Teachers are spending a lot of time making sure that they have contact, so that every student has contact at least with one staff member every week. So they're doing their live sessions, offering those at least once a week. Many are doing them every day. And they're also making phone calls to families they're not hearing from kids. They're mostly sending emails to parents when they aren't getting work in. A lot of students are saying to their parents, oh, I did my work, but they're not actually turning it in. So there's a lot of communication, and they're just really working hard so that we're not kind of losing kids in the shuffle, and just trying to keep up the participation as much as they can with our students and make what they're doing meaningful. Bill said it last week, less is more. So we're really focusing on less is more, but also making the work meaningful, and they're really working hard. And I couldn't be prouder to work with all of these teachers, because they've been amazing. And I also thank the SAU staff for all of their hard work, because they're helping to guide us through all of this, since none of us has ever done this before. So I think we're in as good a shape as we can be, and really doing well, and our kids are working hard. And we're trying to let parents know we're there for them as well. If people need help and assistance, reach out. So certainly if you're hearing from parents that they're overwhelmed and need help, encourage them to reach out to teachers or to administrators, because we're happy to help them through it.
Thanks, Aaron. Stephanie?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody. Thank you all for your support, school board, SAU, and our fellow principals. It's been nice to be able to collaborate. There's been some pluses to this where we've actually had some time to have more lengthier discussions on different things and some professional development. We've had teachers comment on, like, I hadn't been into so-and-so's class all year, and I just joined her morning meeting and got to see some of the kids that I'll have next year. So there's been some nice kind of cross dialogue happening throughout the school. The staff has been amazing, everybody on board and willing to help out in any way possible. Caroline sends out a list for students to join, even for EAs to join on the food distribution, and it fills up right away. So sorry, I have a late napper 3-year-old that just woke up. They might be joining us because my husband's on the call too. Yeah. Okay. So we sent out a survey to parents last week, and we've had 90 responses to that, which has been great. A lot of those have multiple kids in our schools, so those 90 responses probably mean close to 150 or so responding, and mostly positive feedback, a lot of funny comments on what are your challenges from people talking about, like, my one-room schoolhouse is going down fast, just trying to balance. I don't know how you keep my kid focused for 6 hours a day. I can't do it for 20 minutes. And so we also in that offered some opportunities to see if there was an interest in some discussions or professional development and workshops on different topics. And we've got at least 50 parents who are interested in different things, from how to help a student focus to how to set up for success in terms of behavior expectations, how to talk to your child about COVID-19 and coronavirus. So we'll be starting to organize those. We did a video out to families, which I sent to you guys, and the middle school did one too. And the staff had a really great time putting that together. So we're excited to share that. We've had a lot of morning meetings with students, so it's been great to connect with them and giving them a social opportunity as well. So participation is growing on that. In terms of devices, back to your question, Mike, so we have devices, definitely Chromebooks for grades 3 and up. Kindergarten, first and second, we don't have the one-to-one. We use devices in schools as iPads. Right now I'm going through and trying to see who does not have a device at home. And we do have kind of a limited supply of iPads that we can get out. And we are trying to get those out to families that do not have a device. And so we have 40 going out tomorrow to some families. And, that might be something that we look at in terms of the CARES money, trying to provide more of that so that we have those in the future for kids. So we'll be looking at that. Just in terms of, I asked Anna if there was any updates for me to share on from her world, from the special ed end of this, and just that we're continuing to have IEP meetings. So if you hear from anybody saying, oh geez, I don't know, my child's special ed and not sure what's going on, if their meeting is coming due, we'll be having meetings. So if we haven't touched base with them already, we would be. And all my teachers have really done a great job transitioning to an electronic format. So, with those first 2 or 3 weeks, we weren't sure if the paper stuff we handed out was going to be it, but they've all gotten on Google Classroom or Seesaw, and families have been connecting with that. So that's been great. And we've been calling a lot of families. So families that we haven't heard from, we reached out, and now we're kind of getting to ones that we haven't heard from for a while. We're reaching out. So, between Mark and I, we probably called 200 parents just to kind of check in and see how folks are doing. So all in all, everybody's doing an amazing job. So thank you guys for all your support. I told the SAU team in week 2 or something, I saw on Facebook a high school teacher commented, and she said this SAU and SAU-wide admin team is amazing. They're answering questions that I haven't even thought of the question yet. They're right out in front of everything. So it really has been great being able to, have those answers at the ready for folks.
Thank you.
I have one question for Stephanie and Aaron. We've had this multi-grade initiative going for a while where they get together and they have a peer-to-peer meeting. Are we still able to provide any of that? I know we're providing the educational aspect of it, but are we having any Zoom meetings or anything that gets the 5th grade together with the 6th grade for a few kids that used to get together regularly?
We have not done that yet. That's kind of next on the how to figure that out. You're talking about our responsive advisory meetings in the morning, which you're right, have been great. 5th and 7th grade were together and 6th and 8th grade were together in small groups. So it's definitely on our list to try to figure out if there's a way to make that work. The challenging thing is just trying to organize everybody's schedules based, we have teachers at home who are having to work their schedule around their family needs as well. So we haven't figured it out yet. Assuming we get the word that we're in this for the rest of the school year, we will definitely make that a priority so that kids have that extra opportunity just to check in with each other and see each other. And they miss that responsive advisory. Great question.
Thank you.
And we're exploring if we can try to do something like a kind of an indoor recess, like here's an opportunity for kids if you want to sign up to do an activity online together. So we're trying to explore those different options for our students. But they do have the morning meetings. They're used to that just being their class. And I will say, trying to manage all of the muting and unmuting and kids chiming in and their pets in the background, it is hard to get a large group on. But at least we've had it at the class level. It's been great.
Did I hear another was there another question?
So I got the video that Stephanie sent out, and that video was awesome. That was really good. So I just wanted to add that.
Great, thanks. They loved making it, so
Yeah,
glad you
that was
enjoyed it.
The only other thing I will say that Aaron didn't say is that we began talking about 8th grade graduations today with principals, and there's some good ideas being generated, and I think everyone who has 8th graders that they're committed to having those conversations and finding creative ways to honor those students if we don't return this year.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's it. Mike.
Okay, next is the award of the bids for the locker replacement.
Yeah, so the bid process has concluded for the proposed locker room replacement RFP. Bids were sent to 6 vendors, and 3 of those vendors attended a walkthrough and submitted a bid. As you can see, 2 of the bids were very close in price. The third is a bit of an outlier. After taking a look at these bids, we think that third one was high because they actually outsource the service. So the price point is higher. So we're always a little concerned when there's a gap as to why there might be such a gap in the price. That being said, we have worked with A+ Athletics in the past. They actually installed lockers over at the Lincoln Ackerman School this past summer, as well as some other projects for our various schools through the years. So we're very comfortable with them as a vendor, and we are recommending award of bid to A+ Athletics in the amount of $55,000. This is a project that we planted, or we had proposed to the board to utilize the building maintenance expendable trust, as well as we had allocated $20,000 from next year's operating budget, the 2020-2021 operating budget. That being said, we had originally thought we had estimated the price when we priced this out closer to $98,000. So this is significantly lower than our conservative estimates. So we feel it's in the best interest to withdraw the full $55,000 from the expendable trust. It's less than what we had originally thought, and then that $20,000 will in next year's operating budget could provide us some funds should we need them for reentry for students due to this crisis. We feel like we could really find some creative ways to use that $20,000, for whatever the needs may be next year. So be happy to answer any questions in regard to this bid process.
I'm good with it. One question, the 55,000 from the trust, we need a bid or a motion to do that, or that's taken care of already?
So we need a motion to award this bid to A+ Athletics. Next month, we will have a public hearing to withdraw funds from the Building Maintenance Expendable Trust.
I'll make the motion to accept the bid from A+ Athletics for $55,000 for their lockers.
I'll second it.
Great, I have a motion and a second to accept A+ Athletics in the amount of 55,000. Rhonda, roll call, please. Your mic's off.
Sorry. Mike Rabideau,
Yes.
Jessica Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
Kelly Huber.
Yes.
The vote's been recorded.
Thank you very much. And as Matt pointed out, next month we'll have to do a motion to and at the public hearing on the 55 from the trust, correct?
Mr. Rabideau, may I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
Matt, there was, I believe there was an issue that you were going to raise under the finance report about the treasurer. Is that right?
Yes, you are right. So, as you recall, there were no candidates for the school treasurer at Seabrook on the ballot. Mr. Jack Lannon was the previous treasurer for years, but he did not run for this next term. So at that point, any write-in votes would be tallied, and then the school district clerk reaches out to those write-in candidates. Whoever was who received the most write-in votes would be asked first whether they're interested in being the treasurer. In this case, we had 3 write-in votes, or 3 write-in candidates with the same number of votes. So the school district clerk reached out to all 3. 1 declined, 1 did not respond. So the third happened to be Mr. Jack Lannon. And he did accept the position. So he will continue as the school district treasurer for the next 3 years.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We don't need any vote or anything for that?
No.
You do not. It's just informational. Obviously with the vote results, that was one item that was not included because it was undetermined. Now it has been. So I just wanted you to all be aware that Jack Lannon is the treasurer going for the next 3 years.
Okay, great. Let's see. Do you want to go to personnel for nominations, or want to announce the next meeting dates first?
Well, we'll go to non-public for those nominations and one other item. Right, we have a series of joint board weekly updates scheduled just to update board members on what's happening given the current pandemic. And then your next school board meeting is on May the 12th. And we have an operations committee meeting as it involves your rep to the operations committee, which I believe is you, Mr. Rabideau, is that right?
It is, yes.
On May 13th.
Okay. All right. I see more people joining here for some reason.
Yes, I'm in the process of placing the members on hold as you guys go into non-public.
Okay, thank you. Whenever you're ready, actually.
Rhonda, you may have just put Jessica on hold.
Oh,
I'll take her off.
oh, yes, please. Sorry.
She's back.
This is bouncing around. I've got, okay.
One more.
And there should be, I feel like we're missing somebody.
No, I think it's everybody.
No, you have the 11.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to go non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A-E.
No, I'm sorry. It's B and E.
Oh, B and E, I'm sorry. Yes,
That's okay.
B,
I'll make
E.
that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Rabideau,
Yes.
Jessica Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
Kelly Huber.
Yes.
Thank
The
you.
vote's been recorded.
And I will pause the recording now. Or do we want to record this?
No,
No, Zoom the public.
I got it down there. Oh.
Yeah, down under number 10.
Okay. Would you like me to read them, Mr. Rabideau?
Yes, if you would, please.
Happy to. So we need a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation of Jordan Cartledge for the middle school physical education teacher position for the 2021 school year.
Okay. Someone like to make that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second? I'll make the second. A motion and a second has been made to nominate Jordan Cartledge to the phys ed position as recommended by the superintendent. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mike Rabideau,
Yes.
Jessica Brown,
Abstain.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
and Kelly Huber.
Yes.
The
Thank
vote's
you very
been
much.
recorded.
The next motion is to accept the superintendent's recommendation of Andrew Coder for the 6th grade science teacher position for the 2021 school year.
I'll make that motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation of Andrew Coder for the science 6th grade position.
I can't find my phone.
I'll second.
No comment? Roll call, please.
Mike Rabideau,
Yes?
Jessica Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
Kelly Huber.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
And
have
the
the vote
last
recorded.
one
Oh,
is,
sorry. Motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation of Patricia Asciano for the 7th grade science teacher position for the 2021 school year. Sorry about that.
it's okay. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
A
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Rabideau,
Yes?
Jessica Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
Kelly Huber.
Yes.
I have the vote recorded.
Thank you.
And
I think that,
I believe that is it.
One
yeah.
last one.
The
We need a
vote and insurance.
Nope, the final one.
motion to adjourn.
Oh, that one. That's too easy. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And a roll call, no discussion. Yes,
Mike Rabideau,
yes.
Jessica Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Hubbard,
Yes.
Kelly Huber.
Yes.
All right, the vote's recorded.